The world was changing in slow and strange ways. People felt it before they understood it. The air grew warmer each year. The oceans rose a little more. Storms came without warning, and they were stronger than before. Many animals disappeared, and forests became smaller and quieter. Scientists said the planet still had time, but only if people acted fast. Some listened. Many did not. Far from the big cities, in a small town close to the mountains, there lived a boy named Aaron. He was 14 years old, quiet, and thoughtful. He spent most of his days watching the sky. His friends sometimes laughed at him and said he was strange, but Aaron did not mind. He liked to see how clouds changed shape and how the stars appeared one by one at night. He felt there was something important in the sky, something calling him, although he could not explain it. Aaron lived with his grandmother Lyra in a small wooden house surrounded by tall grass. Lyra was old but strong, and she always said the earth spoke to those who listened. Aaron often asked her what she meant, but she only smiled and told him he would understand when the time was right. One afternoon, as Aaron sat alone near the river, he noticed the water moving in an unusual way. It was as if the current pulsed with a soft light. He blinked, thinking the sun was playing tricks on his eyes, but the light grew stronger. It spread across the water and formed a small circle of glowing blue. Aaron was scared, but also curious. He stepped closer. The glowing circle rose slowly from the river and floated in the air. It moved toward him like it had chosen him. Aaron felt a strange warmth on his face as the blue light touched his forehead. He tried to step back, but his legs felt weak and heavy. In the next moment, he saw pictures inside his mind. They came so fast that he did not understand them at first. There were fires, floods, and storms bigger than anything he had ever seen. There were empty lands where cities once stood. Then he saw something peaceful and bright, a world healed and alive, but only faint and far away, as if it might disappear at any second. The light suddenly vanished. The river returned to normal. Aaron fell to his knees, breathing hard. He did not know what he had just seen, but he felt different, like something inside him had awakened. When he returned home, Lyra was waiting at the door. She looked at him carefully and asked where he had been. Aaron tried to speak, but he did not know how to describe what happened. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder and whispered that she felt a change in the air the moment he touched the glowing light. That night, Aaron could not sleep. Each time he closed his eyes, he saw the same pictures: the destruction, the broken lands, and the small chance of hope. He wondered why the vision came to him. He wondered if others had seen the same thing. But deep in his heart, he felt the answer. The vision was not for everyone. It was for him. The next morning, Lyra prepared tea as if nothing strange had happened, but her eyes were serious. She told Aaron a story he had never heard before. She said the earth had guardians long ago, people connected to the land, the sky, and the water. They could feel the world's pain and guide others to protect it. Most people no longer believed these stories, but Lyra believed them. She said the glowing light was a sign. The earth was calling for help again. Aaron did not think he was special. He was just a boy who watched clouds. But Lyra insisted that the earth chose people in simple ways. She said the world needed someone who could listen, someone who cared deeply without wanting praise or power. Aaron felt nervous and unsure. He did not know what he was supposed to do. Lyra told him that the first step was to learn. He needed to understand the meaning of the vision. She said she knew someone in the mountains who might help. This person lived far from others and studied old knowledge. He might know why the light came and what Aaron needed to do next. Aaron agreed, though fear pulled at him. He packed a small bag with food, water, and a warm coat. Lyra hugged him tightly and whispered that he must trust himself. Aaron nodded and started his journey toward the mountains. The sky was gray, and the wind carried a strange heaviness. Aaron wondered if the world already felt the danger shown in his vision. As he walked, Aaron sensed things he had never noticed before. The trees seemed to whisper. The ground felt warm beneath his feet. He heard distant sounds from the forest that were soft but full of meaning, though he could not understand them yet. He felt connected to everything around him, as if the earth was guiding him gently forward. Aaron did not know it yet, but this journey would change him forever. He did not know he had been chosen for something larger than he could imagine. He was the last hope of a world slowly losing its balance, and the earth had placed its trust in him. But for now, he simply walked toward the mountains, not knowing what waited for him there, only knowing that he must keep going. Aaron walked all day toward the mountains. The road was narrow and rough. Small stones rolled under his shoes. The sky stayed gray, and a cold wind touched his face. Now and then he looked back at his town. It grew smaller and smaller until he could no longer see it. He felt alone, but not truly alone. The strange feeling of connection stayed with him. When he passed a tree, he felt its slow, quiet life. When he stepped on the ground, he felt a soft, deep strength under his feet. It did not speak with words, but he felt it, like a calm heartbeat. By evening, Aaron reached the edge of a forest. The trees were tall and dark, and their branches covered most of the sky. He stopped and took a breath. Lyra had told him the man he needed to find lived beyond this forest. In a small stone house on the side of the mountain, Aaron entered the forest. It was colder inside. The air smelled of damp earth and leaves. Birds sang high above him. Twice he thought he heard footsteps behind him, but when he turned, no one was there. Still, he did not feel danger. It was more like the forest was watching him, curious. As night came, Aaron knew he had to rest. He found a flat piece of ground between two thick roots of an old tree. He wrapped his coat tighter and ate a little bread and dried fruit from his bag. He looked up. Between the branches he could see a few stars. They seemed brighter than usual, almost as if they were looking back at him. He closed his eyes, but sleep did not come fast. His mind played the vision again and again. The burning cities, the endless floods, the empty lands, then the small, fragile image of a healed world. He wondered if such a future depended on him. The thought was heavy and frightening. At last, he slept. His dreams were strange. He saw the glowing blue circle again, rising from water, but this time, when it touched his forehead, he did not see only destruction. He saw people standing together. Some planted trees, some cleaned rivers, some built homes that did not hurt the land. He saw himself among them, older, stronger. The dream felt real and warm. When he awoke, the forest was full of light. The sun was up, and soft beams shone through the leaves. Aaron stood, stretched his tired legs, and continued walking. The forest became thinner as he moved forward, and the ground began to rise. The mountains were close now. Around midday, he saw smoke in the distance, not black and thick like from a fire of destruction, but thin and white, like from a small cooking fire. His heart beat faster. Maybe this was the place Lyra had spoken of. He climbed a steep hill and found a narrow path of stones. Following it, he reached a small stone house built against the side of the mountain. Moss grew between the rocks. A tiny garden stood in front of the house, with herbs and a few vegetables. The air smelled of wood and herbs. An old man sat on a low wooden stool near the door. His hair was long and white. His beard reached his chest. His eyes were half closed, like he was listening to something deep inside the earth. When Aaron stepped closer, the man opened his eyes. They were sharp and very clear, like cold water. "I was waiting for you," the old man said in a calm voice. Aaron stopped, surprised. "You know me?" he asked. "I do not know your name," the man said, "but I know your presence. The earth whispered about you last night. Come closer." Aaron walked to him slowly. "My name is Aaron," he said. "My grandmother Lyra sent me. She said you could help me understand a vision." The old man nodded softly. "Lyra," he repeated, as if tasting the name. "Yes, I know Lyra. She listens well. She always did." He stood up with some effort and leaned on a wooden staff. "My name is Kale. Come inside, Aaron." The inside of the house was simple. There was a small bed, a wooden table, 2 chairs, and many shelves full of books. Stones, glass jars with dried plants, and strange objects Aaron did not recognize. The air was warm and smelled of smoke and plants. Kale pointed to a chair. "Sit," he said. He filled 2 wooden cups with hot tea from a pot near the fire and handed one to Aaron. "Now tell me about your vision. Tell me every detail you remember." Aaron told him everything. He described the glowing blue circle in the river, the touch on his forehead, the pictures in his mind. Kale listened without interruption. His eyes stayed on Aaron's face, and he did not move, as if every word was important. When Aaron finished, Kale closed his eyes for a moment. The room was quiet except for the soft sound of the fire. At last, Kale whispered, "The earth has chosen again." Aaron frowned. "Chosen who?" he asked, though he feared he already knew the answer. "You," Kale said simply. "You are one of the guardians the old stories speak of. Not a guardian of swords or walls, but a guardian of balance. The earth has been crying for a long time. People forgot how to listen, but a few hearts stayed open. One of them is yours." Aaron shook his head. "I am just a boy," he said. "I do not know anything. I do not know how to save anything. How can I be a guardian?" Kale smiled gently. "Guardians are not born with all the answers," he said. "They are born with the ability to listen and to care. The rest can be learned. The vision you saw is not only a warning, it is also a path." Aaron looked down at his hands. They were thin and small. They did not look like the hands of someone who could change the fate of a planet. "What do I have to do?" he asked in a small voice. Kale walked to a shelf and took down a small, smooth stone. It was pale blue and seemed to glow faintly, like the light Aaron had seen in the river. "First you must learn to hear the earth's voice clearly," Kale said. "This stone will help. It is a focus. Long ago, there were many like it. Now only a few remain." He placed the stone in Aaron's hand. The moment it touched his skin, Aaron felt a soft vibration, like a distant song. It was not made of words. It was more like feelings: sadness, hope, fear, patience. "The world is breaking," Kale said quietly. "The storms, the fires, the floods, you saw them. They are growing worse. But the future is not fixed. There is still a small chance, a narrow road, where life can heal." Aaron looked up. "And I must walk this road?" he asked. "Not alone," Kale replied. "No one can do this alone. You will need others. Some will help the land. Some will change how people live. Some will fight those who do not want change. Your task is to listen, to guide, and to awaken others. You are a spark. Others will be flames." Aaron felt heavy and light at the same time. Heavy with responsibility, light with a strange new hope. "How do I begin?" he asked. Kale moved closer and rested a hand on Aaron's shoulder. "You begin by opening yourself fully to the earth," he said. "Tonight, we will start your training, and soon, You must leave this mountain and go where the world is most wounded. Aaron swallowed hard. He did not feel ready, but he also knew there was no turning back now. The earth had spoken, and he had answered. That night, the sky over the mountains was clear. Stars shone like small fires in the dark. The air was cold and sharp. Cale led Aaron outside the stone house and up a narrow path that climbed higher along the mountainside. Where are we going? Aaron asked. To a place where the world's voice is strong, Cale said. A place of old stone and deep memory. They walked in silence for a long time. Aaron's breath came out as pale clouds. His fingers felt numb even inside his coat, but the blue stone in his hand stayed warm. He held it tightly, feeling its gentle pulse. At last, they reached a wide flat rock that looked out over the land below. Aaron could see the forest, dark and deep. Beyond it lay small towns and fields, almost hidden by distance and shadow. The wind was strong here, but it felt clean, like water from a clear spring. Cale stood at the center of the flat rock. This is an ancient place, he said. Long before there were towns and roads, people came here to listen. The earth remembers them. It will remember you too. He told Aaron to sit cross-legged on the rock, facing the open land. Aaron obeyed. The stone under him was cold, but firm, like a solid, quiet friend. Hold the blue stone in both hands. Cale said, close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Let each breath be a bridge between you and the world. Aaron closed his eyes. He breathed in, then out, trying to slow his racing heart. Cale's voice came to him soft and steady. Listen beneath the wind, Cale said. Listen beneath the sound of your own thoughts. The earth does not shout. It whispers. At first, Aaron heard only the wind and his own breathing. Then he heard random sounds in his mind, the river, the forest, the crackle of fire. His thoughts wandered. He remembered his grandmother, his small town, the faces of his friends. He wondered what they were doing now. Do not chase your thoughts, Cale said quietly, as if he could see into Aaron's mind. Let them pass like clouds. Return your attention to the stone in your hands. Feel its warmth. Let it guide you. Aaron focused on the stone. Its warmth spread slowly into his fingers, then his arms. He relaxed a little. The noises in his mind grew softer, then something changed. He began to feel a deep, slow rhythm. It was not his heartbeat, which was fast and light. This rhythm was vast and calm. It felt like the breathing of something enormous. He did not hear it with his ears. He felt it with his whole body. Images came, not sharp like his earlier vision, but soft and flowing. He saw roots moving under the ground like a network of veins. He saw water traveling through dark soil. He saw tiny seeds waiting in silence for the right moment to grow. He felt the slow turning of the planet itself. A single emotion rose above the rest. Pain. Not a small pain, but a long, deep ache, like a wound that never had time to heal. It made his chest tight. Aaron's eyes filled with tears. They slid down his cheeks. He did not know why he was crying, but he could not stop. He felt the suffering of places he had never seen. Forests cut down, animals driven away, oceans choked with waste, air thick with smoke. Then, like a faint echo, he felt something else. Hope. It was weak, like a small flame in a storm, but it was there. It came from people who planted trees, who cleaned rivers, who changed how they lived, who refused to turn away. Their actions were small compared to the size of the planet, but the earth felt every one of them. Aaron's hands shook. The stone grew warmer. A clear thought rose in his mind, not in his own voice, yet somehow inside him. Will you stand with me? He did not know if the words came from the earth, from the stone, or from some deep part of himself. It did not matter. He answered in his heart. Yes, he thought. I will stand with you. At once, the warmth in the stone spread through his whole body. He felt stronger, but also more fragile, like a door had opened inside him and could never be closed again. Good, Cale said softly, though Aaron had not spoken aloud. You have accepted. Remember this feeling. It is your bond with the world. Slowly, Aaron opened his eyes. The stars still shone above. The land below was quiet, as if it were sleeping. How long was I like that? Aaron asked. Not long, Cale replied, but time feels different when you are connected. Now the real work can begin. They walked back down to the stone house. Cale talked as they went. You now carry a part of the earth's voice inside you, he said. You will feel things more strongly than before. When a forest is hurt, you may feel pain. When a river is cleaned, you may feel relief. This can be heavy. You must learn not to drown in these feelings. How do I do that? Aaron asked. By remembering that you are not alone. Cale said, there are others like you, waking up in different parts of the world. Some know what they are. Some do not yet understand. Your path will cross with some of them. Together you will be stronger. They reached the house and went inside. The fire still burned. Aaron felt tired, but not the normal tired of walking or working. It was a deep tiredness. Like his spirit had been stretched, Guile gave him a blanket and pointed to a simple bed near the wall. Rest now, he said. Tomorrow we will speak of the world beyond these mountains. There is a place where the earth's wound is open and bleeding. That is where you must go first. Aaron lay down and closed his eyes. He expected more strange dreams, but this time he slept like a stone, heavy and still, wrapped in the soft breathing of the planet. Morning came with a pale light and a soft mist around the mountain. Aaron woke to the smell of warm bread and herbs. Kale was already moving around the small house, placing bowls on the table. Eat, Kale said. You will need your strength. As Aaron ate, Kale spread a large map on the table. It was old and full of small marks and notes. Rivers, forests, towns, and cities were drawn with careful lines. This is our world, Kale said. Beautiful, but broken. The first place you must go is here. He pointed to a spot near the sea. The name of a city was written there, in small, neat letters. Darzan. What is wrong there? Aaron asked. Many things. Kale replied. Darzan is large, full of tall buildings and heavy smoke. A river runs through it and into the sea. For years, people have poured waste into that river. Factories along its banks poison the water every day. The fish are dying. The people who live near the river are sick. The earth cries loudly there. Aaron stared at the map. The distance from the mountains to Darzan looked huge. How can I change a whole city? He asked in a soft voice. You cannot change it alone, Kale said. But you can awaken others. There are people in Darzan who already feel that something is wrong. Some try to fight, but they are weak and few. The earth will guide you to them. With your help, they may become strong enough to make a real change. But why Darzan first? Aaron asked. Because the wound there is deep and growing, Kale said. If nothing is done, the damage will spread far into the sea and along the coast. Many lives will be lost. And also, he paused, then looked directly into Aaron's eyes. Because there is someone there who has a piece of the same power you hold. Another spark. You must find this person. Aaron felt a small thrill of fear and curiosity. Another guardian? He asked. Not trained, Kale said. Not aware, perhaps, but chosen, yes. The earth does not place all its hope on one heart. Even you must not carry that weight alone. Kale rolled up the map and tied it with a thin rope. He handed it to Aaron along with a small leather bag of dried herbs and a piece of bread wrapped in cloth. These will help, Kale said. The herbs can clean water and give you strength. The bread is simple, but it will last a few days. Aaron took them and placed them in his bag. The blue stone he kept in his pocket, close to his skin. Will you come with me? Aaron asked. Kale shook his head. My place is here, he said. I listen and watch. I also protect this mountain and the forest below. This is my part. Your part lies out there. Aaron felt a mix of sadness and respect. He understood, but it still hurt to leave the only guide he had found. Will I see you again? He asked. If the paths of the earth wish it, Kale replied with a small smile. And remember, even when you are far away, the same ground supports our feet. In that way, we are never truly apart. They stepped outside. The mist was lifting, and the sun tried to break through the thin clouds. The air smelled fresh and new. Kale raised his hand in a slow old gesture of blessing. Walk with open eyes, Aaron, he said. Let your heart stay soft, but your will be strong. Listen more than you speak. Act when your spirit says now. And never forget, you are not the master of the earth. You are its friend. Aaron nodded. His throat felt tight. Thank you, he said simply. He turned and began to walk down the mountain path. Each step carried him farther from the small stone house and deeper into a future he did not fully understand. That as he walked, he studied the map. There were roads marked, but also rivers, rail lines, and small paths. He traced a possible route with his finger. It would take many days to reach Darzan. He would pass through towns and fields, cross a wide plain, and then follow a main road to the city. The first part of his journey took him back through the forest. It felt different now. Before, he had only sensed a vague presence. Now he felt many small lives. Insects moved under leaves, birds shifted on branches. Tiny plants reached for light. The forest greeted him like an old friend. Once, he stopped by a stream to drink. The water was clear and cold. As he cupped it in his hands, he felt more than just wetness. He felt the long path of the stream from high snow to low valley. He felt its joy when it ran free, and its fear when it met places of waste and poison. I will help, Aaron whispered, though he knew the stream could not hear words. Still, he hoped it could feel his promise. Days passed. He slept in fields and under trees, in small barns, when kind farmers allowed him. Some people looked at him with curiosity, a thin boy walking alone with a map and a serious face. A few asked where he was going. He did not tell them everything. He only said he was going to the city to help where he could. One evening, he reached the edge of a large plain. In the distance, he saw faint smoke rising from chimneys. The air smelled different, here less clean, with a hint of metal and oil. The earth felt heavier under his feet, as if it were tired. Aaron sat on a rock and took out the blue stone. He held it in his palm and closed his eyes. Show me, he thought. Show me what I am walking toward. He saw the river of Da. It was wide and strong, but its color was dark and sick. He saw children playing near its banks, coughing as they laughed. He saw old people sitting in small houses with tired eyes. He saw factories spilling gray smoke into the air and black waste into the water. He also saw a face, a girl, about his age, standing on a bridge over the river. Her eyes were fierce, and her hands were clenched at her sides. She looked angry and sad at the same time. Around her neck, on a thin chain, hung a small stone that glowed faintly green. Another stone like mine, Aaron thought. The vision faded. The plane came back into focus. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and red. Aaron knew now that he must find that girl. Somehow, their paths were linked. He stood and continued walking, the city of Darzan waiting for him like a huge, troubled beast on the horizon. On the third day after crossing the plain, Aaron saw Darzan for the first time. At first, it was only a gray line in the distance. Then, as he came closer, shapes appeared. Tall buildings, towers, and long bridges. Smoke hung above the city like a low, dirty cloud. The sound of Darzan reached him before its smell. There was a constant hum of engines, horns, and voices. It sounded restless, like a giant that never slept. As Aaron walked down the main road to the city gates, he felt the earth under him grow more troubled. The ground vibrated with machines. The air felt heavier with each step. Darzan's walls were not like old stone walls in stories. They were made of metal and concrete. Guards in dark uniforms stood at the entrance, watching people come and go. Some trucks rolled through, carrying boxes and strange-smelling barrels. One guard stopped Aaron. "Where are you going, boy?" he asked in a bored voice. "To the city," Aaron said, trying to sound calm. "Why?" the guard asked. "To help," Aaron answered without thinking. The guard raised an eyebrow, then shrugged. "You will not find much help here," he said, "but if you want to try, go on." He waved Aaron through. Inside, the city was a maze of streets and buildings. Some buildings were very tall, with glass windows that reflected the gray sky. Others were small and crowded together, with laundry hanging from windows and children playing in narrow alleys. The air smelled of smoke, oil, and something sour Aaron could not name. People moved quickly, not looking at each other. Many wore tired faces. Aaron's head hurt a little. The noise, the smell, the weight of so many lives pressed on him. He slipped one hand into his pocket and touched the blue stone. Its warm, steady pulse helped him stay calm. He knew he had to find the river. The vision always showed the river. The wound of the city lay there. He asked a woman selling bread where the river was. She looked at his worn clothes and dusty shoes, but saw nothing dangerous in him. She pointed down a long street. "Follow this road," she said. "You will smell it before you see it." Aaron thanked her and walked in the direction she showed. With each step, the air grew more damp and heavy. A sharp chemical smell joined the smoke. Soon he heard the sound of water, not the clear, laughing sound of a mountain stream, but a thick, slow rush, like something large and sick trying to breathe. He turned a corner, and there it was, the river of dark. It was wide, yes, but its surface was dark and dull. Patches of strange color floated on a teal green, purple. Broken things drifted by. Bottles, plastic, pieces of wood. The banks were made of concrete, and in some places, metal pipes poured dirty water straight into the river. Aaron's chest tightened. He felt a deep pain, like someone had cut a piece of him. He stepped closer and knelt, reaching out his hand. He did not touch the water, but even the air above it felt wrong. "I am sorry," he whispered, not sure if he spoke to the river, the earth, or himself. Tears came to his eyes again, but this time they were hot with anger as well as sadness. How could people do this? How could they hurt something that gave them life? He stood up and looked around. On one side of the river, factories stood in a line, their chimneys pushing smoke into the sky. On the other side were small houses and broken buildings. People moved there, slower and poorer than in the rich center of the city. Aaron remembered the girl on the bridge from his vision. He looked up and down the river until he saw a bridge not far away. It was an old metal bridge with faded paint and cracked sidewalks. He walked toward it. Cars and trucks crossed it with a roar, but there were people walking too. Aaron moved to the middle of the bridge and looked down at the water again, feeling helpless. Then he felt a sharp, bright energy, like a spark, close by. He turned his head. A girl stood a few steps away, leaning on the railing, staring at the river with a hard, angry look. Her dark hair fell to her shoulders, and her clothes were simple and worn. Around her neck, on a thin chain, hung a small stone that glowed faint green when it caught the light. It was her, the girl from the vision. Aaron's heart jumped. He did not know what to say. He did not know how to speak to another person chosen by the earth. Should he tell her everything? Would she think he was crazy? Before he could decide, the girl turned and saw him staring. Her eyes narrowed. "What are you looking at?" she asked in a sharp voice. Aaron swallowed. "Your stone," he said honestly. "It glows." She frowned and put a hand over it as if to hide it. "You can see that?" she asked. There was surprise in her voice now, and a little fear. "Yes," Aaron said. He took the blue stone from his pocket and opened his hand. It shone softly, like a small piece of sky. The girl's eyes widened. For a moment, the hard look on her face broke. "You have one too," she whispered. They stared at each other, two strangers on a bridge over a dying river, each holding a piece of the earth's hope. "What is your name?" Aaron asked. "Lena," she said slowly. "I thought I was the only one who could hear." This, she touched her stone. "The river cries all the time. It never stops. It makes it hard to sleep." "I hear it too," Aaron said. "Not just here, everywhere. My name is Aaron. I came from the mountains. A man there told me someone like me was in this city. I think that someone is you." Lena looked back at the dirty water, then at the factories, then at Aaron again. Her eyes were still fierce, but a small light of hope entered them. "If there are two of us," she said slowly, "maybe we can finally do something they cannot ignore." Not just the two of us, Aaron said. There are others, even if they do not know it yet. But we can be the first here. We can listen to the earth and then make others listen to us. A loud truck passed behind them, shaking the bridge. The river flowed on, dark and heavy. The city roared and coughed around them. Between all that noise, there was another sound. Very soft, but very real, the faint, steady heartbeat of the earth, reaching out to two young guardians standing side by side. They did not know exactly what to do next. They did not have a plan, or power, or an army. They had only their stones, their open hearts, and the pain and hope of the world inside them. But sometimes, the last hope of Earth begins in this simple way, with two people who refuse to turn away. And this was only the beginning of their story.